Hello everyone, and today I'll be cooking. Today I'm going to be making homemade wontons, and what I do is for some of the ingredients I have shiitake mushrooms. I have to reconstitute them by adding in water. Now I use the cheaper mushrooms because these are not for presentation. Now I do have other mushrooms, and you can tell the difference at looking at them. These are for presentation, okay? They have different grades of mushroom. Now I also have black fungus. I'll be adding water to this to reconstitute it. Now you don't need too much because they'll expand. So that's a little over a cup. It's got to be a lot bigger. This the same. It's got about a cup and a half, whatever. But you can add as much or as little as you want, or don't add them at all. Now, I buy the already made wonton skins. I don't make my own wonton skins. But what I do is I'm going to use ground pork. And with the ground pork, I'm going to grind it myself because I like having the control over how much fat is in my food, and I don't like very much fat, so I keep it down. And also it's a money saver by doing it yourself. This was about $1.80 a pound. If I get ground pork already in the store, it's about $4 a pound. So I'm saving over $2 a pound. Of course, you need a grinder and the blender and the grinder attachment. But if you're going to be into cooking, this is an indispensable machine. I use it for everything, making pizza dough, whipping whipped cream. I make my own whipped cream, and other things you can do with it. But for now, what I'm going to be doing is making the wontons. Now, I'll also be using shrimp. The shrimp, it doesn't make a difference what size you use because we'll be cutting it up. So you can use any size. Find something that's on sale. Make sure it's clean. Devein it. You peel it, and then I'll chop it up. Now, what I do is to get started, I'll be cutting this up into smaller pieces to feed into the machine. I'll be pausing this until I'm ready with that, and I'll show you what to do next. What I did was I cut up the pork. I cut it about 3/4 of an inch to an inch thick, and then I cut it up into strips so I can feed it into the hopper here to make it easier to go in. Now, one of the things I need for this recipe is black pepper. I grind my own black pepper, and I get the peppercorns, as you can see. And what I do is I put them in a coffee grinder. I put them in a KitchenAid coffee grinder. I love this grinder. I had another grinder. I forget the brand, but it was a plastic insert. This is metal. This is a very good grinder for doing your recipes. And what you do is you put your black pepper in. Put the black pepper in. Close it up, and then just push on top. Oh, I forgot to plug it in. that always helps. Okay, so we plug it in, and then just press on. I always do my black pepper in small batches, so I'm gonna grind that up. And then I'll come back and show you how to put the meat in and how to grind the meat. One thing I left out, when you grind your peppers that way, I use a lot of pepper in my cooking, and what will happen is I do it in batches. I'll grind it, then I'll sift it out using a metal strainer, sift it out, and I'll pour it back in the machine, the large kernels that are left over, grind it some more, and then repeat until you get what you want. One thing about pepper, it will separate, and the first batch will be darker than the last batch. So what you want to do is you want to mix that up a little using a spoon, because the dark one, the dark will be underneath. The light is over here. You can, if you could see it on camera, the dark will be underneath. So mix it so it's even. That's actually the difference between white pepper and black pepper. They take out the outer portion of the black pepper, and the inside is whiter, and that's where the white pepper comes from. There's really no difference between white pepper and black pepper. It's just where on the peppercorn it comes from. So let's get started with grinding the meat. And I have my blender set up. Let me move that back so it's in. What I do is I set it to number 2 is the recommended setting for grinding meat. And what you do is you just put it in the hopper. Feed it into the hopper. Now I won't film video all this. It's not necessary. I'm just giving you an idea of what to do. And you can see it's coming out. I'm using a pork loin that I bought from, let me turn that off. I bought a pork loin from Sam's Club. And I'm using 4 pounds of pork loin that will be ground up. The shrimp package that I'm using is a 12-ounce shrimp package. You can use a 1 pound shrimp package, depending on whether you want more shrimp or whatever. What I do is I make all this together. Now the shrimp I'll keep separate because I want the shrimp to be uniform when I put it in the wonton wrapper. So I don't mix that in with the pork. I do that individually with each wonton. What I'll do is I make up a lot of wontons, and then we'll be eating some of that for dinner, and the rest will freeze, because it's a good way to have your wontons. Anytime you want wonton, you can just take them out of the freezer. We keep them usually in 1-quart bags, and you add it into soup. So it's a very good way. You have wontons already made, and they're on hand for you to eat. So let me grind up the rest of this, and then I'll come back to you. I'm preparing the shrimp now. They've been deveined. They've been peeled. I'll just show you the last one, what to do. Now these are like medium shrimp, medium to large. 1, 2. I cut it into thirds. And then, excuse me, and I put it in the bowl. So that's all ready now. Now, I probably need more shrimp, but I can put more shrimp in. Like I said, I'm only using 12 ounces. I would recommend about 1 pound of shrimp. The next thing I have to do, and I left out before, is I have bok choy. Now this is Shanghainese bok choy. There's different types of bok choy. This has the shorter amount and it's greener. That's how you can tell Shanghainese bok choy. And I'm going to cut this up. I'll cook it first, and then I'm going to squeeze out the water. Now I'm using, I'm going to use 5 pounds, but this has a lot of water weight to it. And once I squeeze it out, there's not going to be much left. Bear with me, and I'll get back to you. Well, let me show you how to cut one, just in case people don't know how to cut it. So we open up the package. Now, I already washed out my sink. I cleaned it very well with dishwashing soap, rinsed it off, make sure there's no residue of soap in there, because I'm going to rinse these off. And what you do is, let me get this a little closer so you can see. What I do is you cut off the end, this gets discarded, and then it comes apart. So it comes apart like so. Now, in the old days, I think they grow them differently today, because there used to be a lot of sand in between. You don't find it like the old days. I don't know whether they're doing this hydroponically or they have a better method now of doing it. Like I said, this hard piece you don't really need, and you just throw that in there. I'll be doing that to everything. I'll be rinsing it off with cold water, and I'll get back to you. Now we're preparing the shiitake mushrooms, and with shiitake mushrooms, the ends here are still left hard, so we cut them off. We do this. That's what we do with the shiitake mushrooms. And now what we'll do is we'll put them in the food processor and we'll cut them up. I have the shiitake mushrooms in the food processor, and we'll pulse it to chop them up. We chop them up this way. We give them a chop. We're going to pre-cook the bok choy. I already cut off the ends because the technique in cooking is to cook this first, because it takes longer than the leaf. So what I'm going to do is put it in the pot with boiling water, and we'll cook this for about 5 minutes. For about 5 minutes, and push it down a little. It goes off the boil, and we'll bring it back up to a boil, and about 5 minutes of cooking for that. So we took the bok choy, the white part, well, whitish green part, put it in the food processor, and we'll cut it up. Okay, so you don't want to do too much because you don't want to liquefy it. Now we're going to put in the rest of the bok choy, the green part. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. And that's it. And we'll let that cook for about 3 minutes. We have the tops of the bok choy in there now. And we pulse it. Alright, we don't want to liquefy it. We just want to chop it. And there it goes. We have to get rid of the excess water out of the vegetable. So what we do is we use a clean towel to squeeze it out. This is what's left over of 5 pounds of vegetable. Excuse me. And it's not much, as you can see. Now we'll mix in. I don't know if I'll use all of the ground pork, but what I'll do is I'll put it in, mix it, and look by eye how it is. Okay, I determined that it was the right amount. I added the 4 pounds of pork to the vegetables. You can see how it looks. And now what I'm going to do is add in some kosher salt, a tablespoon of kosher salt, make it 1.5 tablespoons of kosher salt, and a tablespoon of black pepper. And I'll mix that together. We'll put in the shiitake mushrooms that are chopped up. Put those in, and we'll mix that in together. We're going to make the wontons. Okay? So we have a clean surface here, and we have we put in some mixture. We put in a shrimp. Now we have a bowl of water. Now some people use egg wash, but there's flour on here. The flour acts as a glue. And we put that there. We make a fold and fold again and bend back, and that makes the wonton. So I'm going to show you again. And water, fold back, and that's it. Some people find that this is the most difficult part of making the wonton is the folding. We put water all around. Fold and fold over. So that's it. That's the wonton. And I'll show you how to make the soup later, which is very easy. And that's it. Okay, so I made the wontons. Okay, I still have more to go, but we're going to eat. And I put in 2 quarts of chicken broth that was pre-made. Of course, I'm going to add some water to this. And then we're going to put the wontons in here to cook. We're going to put in the wontons now. Okay. I think that's enough, but we put in 20 and we'll wait for that to cook. Now, the way to tell that they're done is they'll float to the top. And let me get the big spoon. Now you can see one just came to the top. And we let them cook. They're sort of like a dumpling where they'll float. Now it's finished. We had put green onions in there. We put the black fungus in there also in the soup. So it's all finished and we're ready to eat. And we'll bowl it up and I'll show you what it looks like in the bowl. We put it in a bowl and we sprinkle some freshly cut green onions, or as some people call scallions. And you can see it there. Very nice. Now, I like to dip mine with some Chinkiang vinegar. I like the flavor. And I also have some chili garlic sauce to put in also. So that's it. I hope you liked the video, and that's all. Now, there is a lot of preparation work. It takes a little time. I'm all by myself for doing the prep work and everything. If you have someone to help you, it will help you out. My wife was working today, which is fine. And bon appetit. Thank you for watching.